Hello everyone. Before diving into today's topic, we want to take a moment to thank you for your support. Every like, comment, and subscription truly makes a difference and helps this channel grow. If you enjoy our content and don't want to miss our upcoming videos, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive all notifications. And what if everything, absolutely everything, were connected by an invisible thread that links every particle, every mind, every corner of the universe, beyond time and space? This is not just any question. It's not one that finds an answer in an equation or a laboratory experiment. It's one of those questions that gets inside you, inhabits you, and never leaves. Because if it's true that everything is connected, then nothing is truly separate. And if nothing is separate, then you, me, the sky, the stars, we're part of the same breath. This idea, as poetic or mystical as it may seem, has a precise name in physics: entanglement. A term that sounds like a riddle. It literally means intertwining, but it's not just any intertwining, it's quantum. It occurs when two or more particles become inextricably linked. Their wave functions merge, hook onto each other, not together. And when that happens, distance no longer matters. If one particle changes state, the other does so instantly. There is no time in between, no space, no classical communication. Just a simultaneity that defies all logic, every intuition, every known rule. For classical physics, all this was simply unacceptable. And indeed, Einstein himself did not accept it. He, who had revolutionized our idea of space and time, could not tolerate the notion that something could violate the ultimate limit of the speed of light. For Einstein, quantum mechanics was elegant and powerful, but also incomplete, too strange. He called entanglement spooky action at a distance. More akin to magic than physics. Convinced that something was missing, he hypothesized, along with Podolsky and Rosen, the existence of hidden variables, undiscovered elements that would restore order and causality to quantum theory. From this insight came one of the most famous thought experiments in history, the EPR paradox. A devastating dilemma in its simplicity. Either entanglement is real, and then relativity is incomplete, or quantum mechanics is. But Niels Bohr, one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics, responded with almost paradoxical clarity: in quantum physics, reality doesn't exist until it is observed. Entanglement violates no law because it does not transmit information in the classical sense. It's a correlation, not a communication. A silent dance, not a conversation. Yet the discomfort remained. Common sense was being challenged. The idea of a world made of stable, measurable, separate things was collapsing. Entanglement broke everything: locality, objectivity, the illusion of separation. And it wasn't just theory. Experiments began to arrive. First indirect ones, then increasingly refined. Physicist John Bell formulated a fundamental theorem, Bell's inequalities, capable of distinguishing between correlations explainable by hidden variables and true non-local connections. The results were shocking. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, and to this day, experiments have continued to confirm entanglement exists. It's real. It can be measured. But even today, we can't explain it with old ideas. And this is where thought expands. Massimo Teodorani, astrophysicist and author, proposes a vision capable of going beyond the boundaries of conventional science. In his book Entanglement, The Quantum World's Interweaving from Particles to Consciousness, he guides us on a journey that goes beyond equations. For him, entanglement is not just a physical phenomenon. It is a living metaphor, an ontological principle, a way of being of reality. According to Teodorani, there exists a deep and invisible level where everything is connected. Not just particles but meanings, intentions, consciousnesses. Entanglement, in this vision, also occurs between human beings. Between minds. Between experiences. A shared intuition, a trauma, a deep bond can generate an invisible but real thread. It's not just psychology. It's physics. A physics still without definitive formulas, but one that we can feel in action. A physics that invites us to change our way of thinking. To step out of deterministic logic and enter a world made of possibilities, resonances, interrelations. For Theodorani, entanglement is the very heart of reality. It's not force that holds the universe together, but relationship. Every particle is what it is in relation to everything else. There is no separate I, but a quantum we. An infinite network of connections that activate and deactivate in an eternal dance. And when consciousness comes into play, this network becomes experience. It becomes awareness. It becomes choice. Entanglement is not just a property of matter. It is also a quality of the mind, a structure of perception, a dimension of being. If this is truly the case, then our task is to learn to recognize the signals of this deep connection. To listen to the resonances that pass through us. To realize that when we think of someone and that person calls us, when we feel an intuition that turns out to be accurate, when we feel part of something greater, perhaps we are experiencing a fragment of entanglement. Not just between particles but between consciousnesses. Not just in matter but in life. And this could be the true meaning of quantum physics. To show us that separation is an illusion, and that connection is the rule. But then another question arises. Is entanglement just an effect, or is it the cause? Is it the consequence of the quantum structure of reality, or is it its hidden matrix? And what if entanglement, and not randomness, is the primary principle of the universe? If it's interconnection, and not isolation, that generates existence. In this perspective, every atom, every galaxy, every living being would be a node in a boundless network. A wave vibrating in harmony with all other waves. Reality would not be made of objects, but of relationships. Not of things, but of connections. And we, immersed in this network, would be all the more real the more connected we are. Thus, physics opens up to philosophy, and science resumes its dialogue with spirituality. Not the dogmatic kind, but the authentic kind that recognizes relationship as the root of everything. Entanglement is not just a quantum property, but an interpretive key to existence. An invitation to perceive the invisible, to recognize the other as part of oneself. To intuit that behind every encounter lies a greater design. A hidden harmony. A resonance that flows through us and unites us. The universe is not a collection of bodies moving through empty space, but a living, vibrating fabric, in which every fiber is in contact with all the others. And we are its unconscious weavers. And if this is truly the case, then entanglement is not just something to understand. It is a way of living. A way of relating, of feeling, of choosing. A science that becomes consciousness. And a consciousness that finally recognizes its quantum nature.